I'm on a glacier in Iceland. A blizzard has come in, night is falling, and I need shelter fast. It's minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit, but winds at 50 miles an hour make it much colder.
But the wind's not only my enemy, it can also be my friend. And what happens when the wind blows over these sort of ridges, if you look up here, it builds up a load of snow on the leeward side of it, on the side out of the wind. And I can use that snow then to dig into and create like a little snow cave.
A couple of years ago, a snowmobiler got separated from his friends during a blizzard. He managed to stay alive for 48 hours before rescue came, because he got out of the wind by digging himself a snow hole.
This is definitely harder work without any form of shovel, but all of this snow is quite nice and loose, and the bits that are coming out, the blocks like this, I'm going to keep so I can use those to then dam up the entrance at the end.
I'm keeping my pace steady. If I allow sweat to freeze on my body, hypothermia will come on twice as fast.
Well, I'm out of the wind now, at least, and that's taken me maybe 20 odd minutes just to dig out this little area of good loose powder snow. But the next thing I need to do is dig a little bit of a pit down, and the reason I do that is that cold air sinks, so I don't want this cold air around me. I want it to go down into what they call a cold well down here. What I want to do now is just block up a bit of this entrance here.
It's tempting to seal the entrance completely to keep the wind out, but that can be lethal.
Okay, what I've done here is just put some of the blocks over the top, and this will all consolidate down. Left a bit of a ventilation hole. I put my hand out here, and it's blowing hard, it's snowing, and this will give it a light covering, but I need to make sure, keep putting my hand through, keep that ventilation hole. Otherwise you can suffocate in these things.
Staying hydrated helps keep your body warm. It's tempting to eat the snow, but that would just cool my core body temperature down even more. So I'm going to melt some snow slowly, overnight, with my body heat.
It's about 3 a.m. But I'm just a bit concerned because my hands and my feet are starting to get really numb now. And it's just like becoming a real mental battle, you know, just to keep wiggling them and not just giving up. I just want this night to end now.
It's morning, and my main priority is to get off this glacier. I just can't risk being caught in another storm up here.
Well, it's definitely less windy than it was yesterday. It's still pretty windy, but actually I see the sun over there, which is a good sign. But in Iceland, the sun doesn't rise in the east and sets in the west. It's more like southeast and southwest. So that's southeast now, and the sun's just come up. It means southwest is over there. That's the way I want to go.
Glaciers are full of these ice gullies, and they can be dangerous.
All of this snow here, this is what's called rotten snow, which means it's fallen, it's thawed, and then it's refrozen, so you get this like crust, which is really good for walking on. I can just dig my feet in and get really good holds in it.
But the danger on glaciers are crevasses.
What you often get with crevasses is just a thin covering of compacted snow that's called a snow bridge, and you can see there just where one has collapsed. And this is why they're so dangerous. You don't know when you're on one, and you don't know what's under you as well. I mean, these could be, sometimes you're hundreds of feet deep, just narrow chasms underneath you, and therefore I've just got to be ultra careful and stick to the side of these gullies.
If you fall into a crevasse they can be impossible to get out of. And with no chance of escape, a slow death is all that awaits you.
And this really is the very end of the glacier. You know, I've always thought of glaciers as like living beasts. You know, they move and they shift and they groan, and often they're angry. But I'm on my way.
Iceland has many geothermal areas, and over 90% of homes are fueled by naturally heated water. This comes from underground rivers being heated by volcanic magma.
I needed to be a bit careful with where I'm treading here, because what you often get are these soft areas of mud, where actually the mud is at boiling point, you know, really frothing away. And every year, you know, there'll be several tourists who'll get stuck in this stuff and get really, really badly burned.
Survival is all about making the most of opportunities, and it's not long before I get a break.
This is a real find. You know, he probably just came down this cliff, got stuck wedged in here and has died. But most Icelandic sheep in the winter time, they're taken inside, but there are always a few that don't get rounded up. And this is obviously one of them. But he hasn't been dead that long. His eyeballs are still there, which means he's probably only, you know, maybe a few days since he's died. And the good thing about Iceland is because it's so cold here, meat will last much, much longer. And look, yeah, you can see all of this is really, really nice meat. And now I've got this bit off, I can just begin to cut the meat away from all the skin. And now it's going to cut a nice strip of this fat as well.
Fat should be stored whenever possible. The oils can be used in many survival situations, like emergency food or fire.
Icelanders eat almost every part of a sheep, you know, everything from testicles, heart, liver, you know, even the eyeballs. Actually, I'm going to take this out.
Sheep eyeballs are extremely nutritious. They are high in protein and rich in vitamin A and D. Usually, they are the first things to rot, but in this cold weather, these are still good.
And the eyeball, give them a dunk in the geothermal and cook the meat in there as well, because it's boiling. And then all of this is going to be good enough to eat.
I could eat the meat raw, but it's harder to digest and can actually take energy away from the body. So cook meat whenever you can.
And you see here just where all the water's boiling. And all I need to do is take my shoelace off. And then if I just put a little loop in the end here, like that. And then if I just go straight through these bits of meat, I can then thread this through. And then just this last bit. And then what I'm going to do, loop it through itself. And that then is ready to go into the boiling water. And look, instantly, you can see it turning brown there. That's how hot this water is. And while the meat's cooking on one end of the shoelace, I can take the other end of it and just thread it through this eyeball. These are really okay to eat raw. I'm just going to dip it in here just to get any sort of bacteria off it. Give it a quick blast in the boiling water. And then this eyeball is going to be okay to eat. God, it's like chewing gristle full of cold gloop. Ugh. Ugh.
10 minutes of cooking time and my main course should be done.
Let's see if this is ready. Oh, That's like just, the best lamb you get in a restaurant. Cooked in volcanic boiling water.